So there's this crazy thing that happened a few years ago. You might not have heard about it. Basically, some dude ate a bat in Wuhan and sneezed into someone's mouth, and the whole world kinda just shut off. A lot changed. During this uncertainty, I learned how to make videos. Matt learned how to make ouch.
I remember jumping straight into the deep end. How I was always dropping out to be your defense. And yeah, my feelings, they were real, but you pretend, yeah. Sometimes I really want you, but sometimes I really don't. When you come around, I feel like being on the phone. I don't know how to feel when my cover has been blown, but I'm keeping it real.
Good evening, Sam here. Hoped you liked that cute little VHS aesthetic in the beginning. Unfortunately, the effects budget's been running a little thin ever since the meat grinder incident. Those cucks at OSHA think they can take Navy Sam down. I'll show them. Matt Watson's EP was released in 2020 and spans the course of 6 songs. So, why don't we take a deep dive into the career of the man and the sound of the music? Committing to a clock wipe. Matt Watson is a YouTuber and comedian who operates primarily on the up-and-coming video platform www.youtube.com. Matt's channel, Supermega, is composed of him and Ryan McGee, with editing and camera work by Justin N. Buttlag, Layton, and the Tucker brothers. The channel primarily does Let's Plays, but also features sketches, podcasts, vlogs, and songs. The main appeal of Supermega to me is, despite being a gaming channel on the surface, they end up being so much more than that once you look into their other forms of content. I'm getting off track though. What's important is that Matt and his colleagues are very talented and creative people, and he lives a very internet-heavy lifestyle, which is important to Ouch's sound and development. Ouch was cummed, cooked, and birthed during the pandemic. It's a 2000s inspired EP that I guess falls under pop, but really kinda slams a lot of different genres into one. It generally goes for the aesthetic of this image. In interviews, Matt said that Jack Stauber was one of his inspirations, and I can totally see that shining through here. It's not similar to a lot, but the closest thing I would compare it to would be Jakey's music, with the samples, 2000s vibe, and obviously because they're both YouTube boys. So sit back, pop a Zang, have some licorice, and let me take you through the EP song by song, and discuss the themes of each, as well as the pandemic's influence, and generally pretend to be more well versed in music knowledge than I actually am. The EP starts off with Jello, and frankly I don't have too much to say about it, since it doesn't have words. I will say that it establishes the sound for the record very nicely with the wavy synths and chilled out chords. In an interview, Matt said he just played chords randomly on his guitar, and it really does sound like an authentic jam session, which I'm a fan of. It also sets the tone really nicely. 6.5 out of 10. Yeah! Debatably the song with the most single power on the project, Come Over is about a controlling relationship where the only benefit is a sex let's play. I really enjoy this song because it's about little positives and triumphs that are just good to remember. Beds, friends, rain, and whatnot.
My life is good, I can't complain. I love my bed, I love the rain. It doesn't rain enough, no.
It's a really down-to-earth topic and I appreciate that, and I find myself listening to it whenever I'm tweaking on a perk walk combo to calm down. Additionally, the song delves into the idea of feeling trapped in a relationship. While not a super unique concept, I like how it's presented, being content in a less than ideal situation, either to survive or because you've been forced to. To me, this has a very clear quarantine influence, that being the pleasure with the most mundane things, since they're kinda all you get to see in isolation. Come Over is also just a very catchy song in general. Structurally, it uses a few repeating synth chords in a nice little loop over and over, with layers and variation coming in over the course of the song. Not groundbreaking stuff, but very catchy, a good running song, and it talks about some cool shit. 8 out of 10. My personal favorite song on the EP, Nokia, is a groovy tune about trying too hard and self-care. Jesus. In an interview with Media, Matt said that the song was about, quote, basically realizing that you can help somebody that you once cared about, but can't be bothered anymore, but also realizing that's not your responsibility at this point in time. It's your own responsibility to help yourself. I'm going to be quoting the Medium interview a lot, since there's really only a few interviews out there. I really do adore this message. It speaks to me personally as I endure my never-ending quest to become less of a bitch every day, and additionally serves as a gentle reminder that hoes are nothing more than a distraction from my ultimate goal of money and power beyond worldly comprehension. I love Nokia for this because it's a song I wish I'd heard so much sooner, while still being a fun little bop. Well produced too. 10 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Margie is Matt's most impressive song production-wise, and for that it stands out on the project. The guitar adds a lot, and it's the track with the most depth on the EP for sure, if that makes any sense. Again, I really don't know what I'm talking about. Thematically, I don't have a lot to say about it. The song discusses having a falling out with someone, and even though you might not like that person anymore, it's best to be friendly about it and recognize you're better off without them. It's simple yet effective and similar to what Nokia presents. Matt's also said that he wants his music to go in this direction going forward, and while I honestly would prefer the more digital direction Nokia takes, this would be interesting to see too. 8 out of 10. Whereas all the other songs had themes influenced by or tangentially related to the pandemic, Feel This Way directly embodies it. It definitely has a melancholic feel to it with these strained, almost game over screen type synths in the background. Matt spills out feelings of change, exhaustion, and apathy. At first he's again putting this in the context of a relationship, but ends up talking about the state of the world as a whole, shitting on the economy, the virus, and how much harder everything was during quarantine. But he doesn't talk all that poopy. He's staying afloat in the economy and finding time to be himself. But overall, it's more of a shit than piss situation. The song ends with this sleepy, hypnotic outro, almost like Matt literally passes out on the track due to being overwhelmed. This also ties in very nicely with the last track, Sleep Tight. For me, quarantine was when I learned how to do everything that I do, pretty much, at least online. So I can relate to it kind of sucking, but also a lot of benefits. A lot of bike riding too, though. 8.5 out of 10. A happy note to end the EP on. Sleep Tight is an instrumental outro with a bunch of bros just hooting and hollering, clapping, just having a good old time. Matt kinda just moans for the duration of the track, which works well with the lullaby beat, surprisingly. It's a good send-off and a nice way to lighten the mood. Again, referencing the Medium interview, Matt said he wants to end all of his projects going forward on a happier note, which is appreciated, and Joji kinda did the same thing with Nectar, putting in Your Man behind after Like You Do, which is a really fucking sad song. So, I appreciate it. Fucking 8 out of 10. Not every theme in Ouch is directly related to COVID, but the feelings are all products of it. Quarantine was a terrible time of isolation for a lot of people, as well as a period of growth and change. Ouch shows both aspects in an authentic way, while also managing to tell standalone narratives in its individual songs. No other project released during this period, at least not that I've listened to, reflects the disparity and wonky nature of the pandemic as well and as enjoyably as Ouch does, and that has everything to do with Matt's experiences as an artist and a creator. Ouch is important not just because it's a major step in a budding artist's career, but also because it encapsulates one of the strangest times in human history in just under 18 minutes. The EP carefully navigates a tightrope, and fuck does it look hot while doing it. Ouch is a reflection, celebration, and demonstration of the COVID pandemic. Matt really popped off on this project, especially since it's his first ever. I'm anticipating whatever this little goblin boy chooses to do next, and I hope he manages to stay the course of his more recent singles since Ouch's release. With a little bit more vocal confidence, Matt could genuinely become a fantastic artist, and we're beginning to hear some of that on his new Space Song cover. This whole project is a huge creative inspiration for me, and I'm so glad I was finally able to make this video since I've wanted to talk about it forever. On the grand Namby-Sam scale, which encompasses all forms of media including visual, audio, and hallucinogenic, I give Ouch an 8.7 out of 10. Thanks to Cumload for 500 subs. The last video has quickly become my most popular ever, which is fucking crazy to me. More to come, so stay tuned, dipshits. And remember, keep making stuff you like, because one day some idiot on the internet might think it's pretty cool, and at the end of the day, that's what really matters.